Should we clap?
Dale, don, dale.
Hey, where's that from? Christian? Dale.
That's Don Omar.
Or Don Omar? Oh, okay. So that. Oh, true that though. Hey, I think of Pitbull.
Pitbull, oh man. Honestly, pioneer in reggaeton. I was like 8 or 9 when I would hear, see MTV, watching his music videos, in Miami or some shit, reggaeton all out. And, at the time, people just saw it kind of more as a hype, as a movement. It was Pitbull. If not, some people kind of almost saw it as hip hop, because he was just kind of like in the whole pop music, pop culture. Like at the end of the day, that's kind of like pop music, and
true.
So, Pitbull's the shit. I mean, now I don't know. I feel like too short in Pitbull. Like they're gonna get too old. They're gonna get old to a point where like you're gonna still be rapping about ass and titties. Like your ass is a grandpa.
like dude,
I don't know. I've always wondered that.
Do you think Pitbull will still be like if even if it feels like like if his body state was like he's not able to walk, like he's like in a wheelchair, you think he'd still be performing like in a wheelchair, like even if like nothing define him, like you think he's just gonna fucking die on the stage type shit?
Pitbull is gonna be lifted up on the stage in a wheelchair with ass around him. Bro, as he dies with culo.
Do you think you'll ever get tired of ass, bro? Like, so you got to answer that honest. And now, do you think Pitbull's ever gonna get tired?
Yeah, like
as much as he gets to see, bro.
He's gonna have a heart attack from that culo.
Hey, but honestly, Pitbull has put himself in such situations music wise. I wouldn't think he would. Like, I can give you an example. Like, he did a collaboration with Afrojack called, I think it's called Maldito Alcohol.
Yep. Fire ass track, too.
It's like, yo no quiero agua, yo quiero bebida. And I think they reused that, line, because I think that's the line that Pitbull uses in one of his other songs. And I think Afrojack just liked that line, and he was like, fuck it, I'm going to just make a dance track to it, and we'll just use that line, and I think it's cool. And then he's like made like what? Don't Stop the Party.
Don't Stop the
Yeah.
Don't Stop the Party. Yeah, all these fucking. I mean, he knows how to be a part of hits for sure, and he knows how to contribute to it too. Like, Mr. Worldwide, bro. I mean, this is Mr. Worldwide, dude. I mean,
and here's the thing with Pitbull, like, just like I say, I support Pitbull the same way that I support him. There's stuff, behind the scenes that happens. Like, some people know, some people don't know. That song that kind of streamed around for like a good time. What was it called? Pon Pon?
Yeah.
Or like that pon pon. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know the backstory of like the original creator of that.
Papa Americano.
Yeah. So the original person who created, obviously it was still a remix because the original one is called what is it called?
Yo Soy Americano, right?
Yeah, Soy Americano, something like that, right?
Because they had resampled it, right? People resampled it.
Yeah, but the lead drop, the rhythm was actually copied from a producer named Alvaro, DJ Alvaro. Still goes producing for fucking Major Lazer if you want to look him up. Like he's legit. So Alvaro actually, there's a YouTube video of a party of Pitbull finally meets with Alvaro, because Alvaro, when he heard the song drop, he dropped a YouTube video explaining that this guy just stole his lead, his rhythm. And he literally played Pitbull's track and his original lead. And he showed you like the whole, like the keys, everything that he made it. So in this video, we're in this party in Miami, Alvaro actually meets him, and you can see it. It's titled like Alvaro finally meets Pitbull because of the whole like pon pon. And Alvaro, they say it's cool. Pitbull's like, oh yeah, we're gonna work on some music together. But you can tell Alvaro's kind of like, he just keeps his distance. Like what happened. And he knew that himself. It was a remix that he put out. It wasn't an original. So it wasn't something that, and it could get like, legally, sued or anything. So but yeah, that's the background of that pon pon. I mean, and this is the YouTube video still up, so you can literally see the video of Pitbull interacting and talking to Alvaro about the track and almost apologizing to Alvaro.
Let me ask you this, because in that situation, like, I guess it kind of sucks, right? Because the bigger artist is the one that's reusing someone else's like melody and whatnot. Flip that situation. What if homeboy was the one that made a remix to another song and then he put it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to feel bad about remixing someone's? Do you ever want to feel bad about remix? I'm remaking your song because I like it and I felt influenced from it, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't think intentionally there's bad blood, right? I don't think intentionally it's like we just wanted to use your shit and not credit you or anything that. At the same time though, like I feel like credit is needed.
Yeah.
But you know, like I think about that now when I even like start remixing and remaking music and shit. Like I'm not getting no types of permission to make this, do this whatsoever. I'm not. I guess I'm crediting you by putting your name in, like and whatnot. But like, I think it's just like that's just a part of music, you know, like getting influence from other people.
That's why people say be careful who you even send your previews to, music that you're working on. Like
that is true.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like there was always some sort of anxiety I couldn't understand as to why. Like there was times where people would want to hear my new stuff, and sometimes I'd be like, oh yeah, cool, check it out. And then sometimes I'm like, well, I don't know, man. This guy's very eager to like want to know my my new music and stuff or whatever. Like, and that's happened a couple times where you go on Twitter, Facebook, you see a friend of yours or like a mutual friend just going off about a situation where a producer like completely rips off like their idea or reuses their same idea, and there's no accreditation to like the original source. And I mean, a bunch of stuff just happens, and that usually doesn't look that's usually not fun. But I mean, like I said, I think there's always like I think if there's like communication and stuff, I think there's always could be good vibes like with all that shit. If like again, there's no malice intent behind that shit, you know? Cause
and like, exactly like you're saying, you know, we all kind of know, you know. I mean, you know, we're not, you know, big industry producers, but you know, when you work with an artist or someone that's a vocalist, you know, like Pitbull himself, he's not making the beats, you know.
Exactly.
He's just going up. Someone's bringing up to him, showing him ideas, his agent, whatever, and like, oh look, you might sound good on this. So I think it was more so the producer's job to contact Alvaro and let him know, or some kind of like credit to Alvaro, you know, because the producer was at the end of the day, I'm not sure who produced the song for Pitbull, but had to give some credibility to Alvaro, or
you know what I
some mentions.
We'll say in situations where like, because like you said, he wasn't the producer, some other person produced it. What a lot of times will happen, bro, and because it's Pitbull too, because he's on a label and shit, bro, the label doesn't want to contact this person, bro. The label is just gonna look over and be like, bro, it's not even worth it. Like, for what reason are we gonna
exactly?
You know, so and that has nothing to do with Pitbull. It has nothing to do with that producer that produced that beat, because maybe that producer was telling them the whole time, oh, like I got influenced, like, you know, these are the samples. Like he probably sent in his sample sheet or whatever it is you need to set in, right? And
that's usually how it goes. You know, that's how it works. You know, like,
and then usually, like I said, because it was Pitbull, I think they just skipped over that part completely.
They just sealed the deal. Obviously, it was gonna be a hitter. Pitbull on the beat. Like,
it's better to ask for or say sorry than to ask for permission. Mm-hmm. It's easier to say sorry than to ask for permission, and that's what the label did in that case, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, the label is just gonna do their shit until they are found in a situation where there's legal grounds and the other parties like actually making it like a legal issue to where like they have leverage. Because I follow this person on Twitter. He's like a lawyer for like a lot of these music producers, and he always talks about like how he's always having to go to these labels and be like, hey, you guys need to pay our artist. Like, they're not gonna get paid out unless you reach out to the label. And they have, and like
facts,
he always and like and that's the thing that like a lot of artists are scared to do. It's like to ask for like what the fuck they are kind of contractually.
They just gotta
like,
ask the right fucking way, bro.
Exactly, and sometimes they might just need maybe sometimes representation, right?
And that's the right way,
right? And
these labels know that you're not asking the questions, so they know they can get away with it,
bro. Yeah, these labels
simple
aren't
as that,
stupid, bro. Like, they're probably the smartest people, bro. The labels run the music industry, so they know every loophole in the music industry, you know. So like they're just gonna keep going until they're said not to, fam. You know.
Yeah,
that's just music industry shit. So like think about it this way: do you credit everything you've put up?
Like for example,
like every sample, where you got your sample from, all that shit.
Hell no.
Exactly, bro. Fucking exactly. So like
hell no. So
and until someone contacts you saying, bro, that's my snare, you don't give no fucks, bro. You're out here still living your life, promoting your shit. You're not giving no fucks. And you're not going to until someone tells you something, you know? And that's how the label's looking at all this shit too. That's exactly how I see it. But I mean, and that shouldn't stop no one from fucking sampling shit though, you know?
Hell no.
I mean, I think not recently, but if I'm correct, I think Marvin Gaye's family sued who was that? Pharrell and Robin Thicke for sampling or using some type of like chord or like rhythm that was used in one of Marvin Gaye's music, like just because it was the same rhythm, like same chord, same.
I like that, bro.
So they got money out of it.
I mean, there's been cases where if they can prove that there's a significant segment in that track that people can that people are deeply invested in, to where like the replay value is there and like money's been like generated because of that, then yeah, dude, like for sure, like if it's a rhythm or if it's a certain line, like they're gonna try to like fucking capitalize and try to own that shit. Like even like when people are like, oh, I own that slogan, I own that saying, like what's up, dude? Like I own that shit. Like like people are gonna want to like try to like make sure they have ownership of shit. So if people try to monetize it, they at least try to like, get something out of it. And
also Missy Elliott got money from that Zafaera track from Bad Bunny.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she got her and Timberland, they got money from that because they sampled it and didn't clear the sample. So that was another situation.
And if Timberland, bro, he's gonna get his money.
Yeah, Timberland. Yeah,
he don't get his money.
That is like my idol, bro. I follow that fool, and he just be sitting outside his porch listening to birds and like thinking of beats, and goes back in the studio and it's a rap. It's a rap, like just to be able to do that is like
it's fucking lit.
Yeah, who else are like some of your other idols?
Producer wise, West Coast, I really, really love DJ Quick.
Okay.
DJ Quick has like that like groove, like that soul, that gangster, like West Coast vibe, And
for sure,
a lot of people don't know, but he was kind of not necessarily like putting on, beats for the West, but he started rapping and producing his own music very early on, and I mean he kind of put on the West Coast kind of like gangster rap very early on. It was underground, all these genres were underground, even hip hop itself, it was everything was as a new genre as an underground music. It's but then again underground music is what the kids want, what the public needs, what the public wants, like. So that's how you have genres like Moombahton.
I was gonna ask you, would you consider Moombahton still underground? Right,
very underground.
Very underground. All right, let me ask you this next question, bro. And I want you to think about this, bro, because I don't even know how to. I've been trying to answer this question for myself for years, past 2 years, bro. And honestly, I just don't have a clear answer, bro. And I hope that you could help me find some clarity on this. Is Moombahton dead?
Moombahton is not dead.
Okay. If I had to hear it from anyone, bro, I feel like it had to be from you.
Moombahton is not dead. That's a fact. That is something that, I mean, Moombahton is in your airwaves. You might not even know that you're hearing a Moombahton remix of your most popular reggaeton track. I have a homie DJ AM, I think on 93 point. I forget what station. I'm sorry, DJ AM. But this fool, he's a homie, and I send him, some music. He plays, a couple of my tracks, and that's Moombahton edits, and it's obviously radio clean edits for him to be able to play, so I think some people don't know. I think what we need is a Moombahton awareness committee. We need a Moombahton awareness committee. We need to let people know. I know
I'd vote you in, bro. I'd vote you in.
Dylan Francis did some video way back about Moombahton awareness, and it was a little just comedy little script. But I think we need some Moombahton awareness for the folks.
Is there a face of Moombahton right now?
The face of Moombahton right now, I would say, is Big Dog, OG, etc., and
that's a problem. That's a problem, and that's where the problem of Moombahton is at right now.
And you have Matias. Matias is from Ciudad Mexico. He's one of the very few artists that has released with Selegna, which is Munchi's record label. And Munchi is, he's technically one of the first producers who produced an original Moombahton track.
It's Godfather, the founder of Moombahton?
The founder of Moombahton is, the homie Dave Nada. Shout out to Dave Nada.
Dave Nada. I would hear a lot of Dave Nada tracks back in the day.
Yeah.
So he founded that shit, Moombahton.
Yeah. He was, there's a video on YouTube. You can see
Nada.
it. My boy Dave Nada, I guess he was at a party, and he was playing, I think, if I'm correct, reggaeton, and they wanted him to play some EDM. So he, the reggaeton, you had it at 108 to maybe 115, some sped up reggaeton. But he slowed it down. I think it was to be exact, the Moombah track. The Turn Up the Bass, Afrojack remix, I think, if I'm correct.
All right.
So he played that track, and it just went very well with the layout of the tempos of reggaeton with the EDM track, because you had your 4-bar just kick, and so I think after that, if I'm correct, he made a few edits, and Munchi came across those edits, and that's when he was like, shit, he was already producing reggaeton, he was already producing some underground cumbia, he was making underground shit that people were not even ready for, And
what year was this, would you say?
Well, Moombahton, I first came across it, I think it was 2010. Yeah, 2010.
Way back.
So
shit. 12 years ago.
12 years ago. So
God damn, 2010 was 12 years ago.
Yeah. And 2011 was the Mad Decent block parties.
I remember those shit.
If you guys remember those, yeah. But before they were still free. All you had to do is just RSVP, bro. You get to see Major Lazer, Dylan Francis before he blew up. You got to see Lunis, some very, very popular artists. I mean, I got to see Munchi twice for free. Moombahton,
Have you ever hanged out with him?
Actually, one time, my homie Matias from Ciudad Mexico, he came out. He was out here in the studio with the homies Audio Cartel, and he was like, "Hey, bro, come through." I think that day before, I had gone to an Academy show for Gesture. He just, I think it was Academy or Avalon. I'm not too sure, but he had a special guest, surprise guest, and ended up being Munchi. So obviously he was in town, and so was my homie Matias, and he invited me to the studio. And I think at the time, Noise Kid, he's another Moombahton OG from Mexico, and Noise Kid was there as well, and I think Munchi was with the homie Rail, not Rail, the homie Rail the Soundbender, that's his name, and right there out in South Central, and so I guess he's chilling with Munchi. We're at the studio. He hits up the homie Matias, and Matias kind of wanted to show him some new music, that he kind of was trying to get released on Munchi's label, and Munchi came through, and bro, it was
a rap.
It was a rap, and actually, I got to meet him 2011, yeah. 2012 I think was another Mad Decent block party, but 2011 is when I met him. And well, just little kind of greet, behind the little fence, say what's up, and when we were at the studio, he actually remembered me. He was like, "Oh man, how you been, bro?" And low key, everyone was nervous at the studio, bro. Like we had Munchi in the studio, like everybody was like, "Oh shit!" Like, and Munchi was just very chill and was like, asking me how I've been, because I also sent him my music as well, and so I actually just recently had some recent contact with him, so he's doing good.
Honestly, every time you show me some Moombahton shit, it's always been fucking like so good, so raw, so fire.
Thank you, bro.
Dude, Moombahton 101 with Christian Busto, ladies and gentlemen, here at Lucy Temple. Holy shit.
Thank you guys.
Bro, I learned so much about, honestly, Moombahton today that I have the past 2 years already. From what you like.
Yeah, man. And honestly, I think Munchi didn't even there's it's documented on YouTube. Munchi didn't even know himself. Like he was making some of the first Moombahton tracks. He was like, oh, let me, I make reggaeton, EDM, let's see what happens. And he dropped like, I think, not necessarily EP, but 3 singles that, made a mark in the Moombahton genre, and, did his thing for sure.
Dude, that's insane, bro. Like, that's cool to hear you like talk about Moombahton, because there's not very much people.
Yeah.
It's so interested in like in that culture, and it's real refreshing to hear you talk about Moombahton, because I know you've been like in the Moombahton space for like, dude, more than a decade. You've been making that shit like for years, bro, and I'm really glad for you to come down here to the studio and to talk about it, because
of course.
dude, you're like a rare gem, dude, when it comes to specifically Moombahton and producing music, bro, because you've been producing music for many years, bro, like and DJing, bro. I mean, I remember the first time I met you, it was like at a house party with you and Taco, right?
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, but it was like a all white like clothing party, right? Like everyone was wearing all white. It was like in a backyard like house party.
Yeah.
I remember like we ended up going to like some apartments to like help you like unload like your stuff.
Yep.
And we got to know each other, and then over the years I would just see you like DJing house parties, and I remember even going to like kick it with you, like with my cousin Animal, and I would see you like already like producing, bro. That's like 2012, like in FL Studio, like you're making beats, bro.
Yeah,
like,
so that's the thing. After like 2011, 2012, I'm not sure there was a block party that year. But by 2013, 2014, I was already like producing some Moombahton, and sadly, the OG Munchi, not necessarily disappeared, but he had some personal things to take care of, and he was in the back, behind the scenes of the Moombahton genre. But I mean, you had people everywhere, hear about Moombahton, people in the UK. I mean, obviously, the UK, they do EDM, like, I wish, we had EDM music in our radios as much as, the UK did. But yeah, so I mean, it was definitely supported over there. And I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I see people from like 14, 13 producing Moombahton. And the other day I came across this guy from Ireland making Moombahton, and he was probably like about 64 years old, or like late. Yeah, bro. God. It was an old cat, and he was making Moombahton. Like, I was surprised. Yeah. And it's just, it's up and coming. And honestly, Moombahton had his time where, for those, I think for a couple of years where it kind of was just riding a wave. It wasn't necessarily dead, but it was riding a wave.
Do you think it ever catch the peak?
And I think probably 2011, 2012. But then again, I feel like it still hasn't reached its peak, because
it just never got there.
Yeah, it's still in the works. Reggaeton died down, 2004, 2008. Came back around maybe a year, 2 years, later.
Right.
And, now reggaeton, you hear reggaeton on 99.1. Like, it's everywhere. You can't play a reggaeton track because of the fact that it's, number one requested song, the week, the month, whatever it may be. So, I mean, and then when it comes to like, what were we asking? I'm sorry.
No, well, I was just asking, like, because you've been doing like so much like in the Moomba space and everything, bro. Like, it's just so cool to hear you like talk about
Moombahton,
bro, especially like you've been producing dude for a while.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I'm pretty sure you got like records for days, bro. Like I don't even know how many unreleased tracks you just got fucking psyched up. They're just Moombahton, bro. Because that's all you produce on. Just
I do a lot of Moombahton lately. I haven't released any, but I have been working on some like Latin house style music, just because. When I first got into like, EDM, Dutch electro house was in, and then Dutch house came in, and then Dutch house was like my shit, for, it's still, I love Dutch house, I try to find random people producing it. And so when Moombahton came along, it was just like the perfect blend of, I feel like my culture, I'm Mexican, like I could mix it with some like cumbia vibes and some, reggaeton and some EDM. I was already feeling all of that. So it was just like the perfect, soup. Perfect mix.
Do you think so? Because the way I'm hearing you speak about Moombahton, and you say it's never had its peak and it's coming, it's never been dead or anything like that. Do you think it's going to go down as like a drum and bass situation?
I think it's actually, I mean, considered in Insomniac's eyes, it is jump. You hear Moombahton in the bass rush, stage. Like so it's still considered very underground. Like drum and bass. Drum and bass. I think I've heard like 1 or 2 songs on the radio, and I've been surprised myself. I'm like, oh shit! Like, do people know what they're listening to? Like,
yeah, right.
So I mean, I think everything has its time, and I feel like drum and bass is coming too, like jungle beats, like everything.
And we hear that I've been hearing drum and bass is about to pop since I got into EDM, bro. And like, I'm not gonna lie, Moombahton I think did have its run. Like, it had a fucking run, and it had a bigger run than drum and bass. I think did.
I feel that in the US specifically.
Specifically
I agree.
In the US, and I don't know what happened to make it plateau. I really don't know what happened because I felt the energy. I was out there.
Yeah,
I was out there in these streets. We were doing parties at the time. Still, like I think we were still like trying. I think when like 2012 to like 2013, 14. That's when I started really hearing it more out. And then at the time, I was really starting to produce more too, and I was really starting to feel like something was gonna catch with it, something was gonna break, and then et cetera, right? Mm-hmm. That's the name that I got. I put Moombahton together with. It was if I was thinking Moombahton, et cetera was the guy.
Another one I did forget to mention is the homie Gesture. He hasn't. I'm not sure it's released recently, but his label Group Chat is putting in work right now. So shout out to Group Chat, shout out to Gesture.
Yeah, they just had a party yesterday. I heard that.
Oh yeah, amazing! Wow, RayBurger killed it. Shout out to RayBurger too.
Hey, the boy RayBurger. Shout out,
shout out, fam. That's what he hit us up. Hell yeah, for the guest list. Hell. Hey, but speaking of Group Chat, like let's say if someone wanted to get some fresh Moombahton like these days, Group Chat. Is there any other labels and platforms that you could suggest to anyone that wants to get like some like fresh Moombahton? Or because I'm just trying to like figure out like where I would go to like try to get some new Moombahton, because we talk about like how Moombahton had its wave back in the years, but I'm pretty sure there's still labels like Group Chat, and I think I've seen like Clinica and like Worldwide. They're still like a lot of those platforms still trying to push stuff, but like maybe I'm missing some platforms, and I wanted to know maybe where to guide people that want to get like some fresh Moombahton, because you'd be the person I'd ask for sure.
Yeah, I mean, right now at the moment, you have there's another one kind of very similar to La Clinica is Moombahton Central. It's one of the very OG kind of Moombahton. They support everyone. It's a very great community in Moombahton Central. And then actually, if I'm correct, Layback Luke himself follows the page and plays music from there. Layback Luke. So it's a good page. Look up for some Moombahton right there. And then I mean, you guys know the homie, DJ Benji. Was it Benji, right? Or no?
Wait, which one? Benji or Benzi?
Benzi. My bad.
The one from Twerk, right?
Yeah. Benzi, and that fool. I mean, a few of my tracks are on there. The homie Animal hit me up. He was telling me, call me. He was like, "Hey, bro, do you know some of your songs are on Benzi's playlist?" I was like, I didn't know, but I did at the time have submitted some music to him, but I didn't get a response, so I'm just glad, people out there, getting some Moombahton. So he's a good spot to get some Moombahton. Let's see. Honestly, just SoundCloud, look up individual artists, follow them.
Any artists that come across your mind to follow right in this time?
Right now,
Busto, for sure.
Follow me, Busto Música, Christian Busto, and definitely the homie Matias. Matias from Ciudad Mexico. Follow him. He got some dope ass Moombahton. Los Excel as well. He has his own studio. That's the homie as well. He got some dope Moombahton. He be dropping some Huaracha. Yeah, something.
Huaracha? What is that?
Yeah,
what is Huaracha music?
We talked about it a little bit earlier because, like I said, I have no type of Latin set in my bag. Like I don't know how to drop it, but I have a homie that plays a lot of Huaracha music and a lot of what was it? What was the first one? The other one I had told you?
Tribal?
Not Tribal. I'll get it right now. But he drops those type of music, and I started to realize, or he was telling me like, bro, this is the shit that's coming up right now, underground, like, and it's EDM. It's EDM shit. Like this is the stuff that's popping.
Yeah.
If you want to have a party, like, because I think he DJs mostly like Latin based parties and shit like that. But I'm noticing like when he's posting stories, I'm hearing EDM, bro, but it's in Spanish, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, dog? Like, what the fuck is going on, bro? You're tripping me the fuck out because this sounds like some hard, almost like some hard house shit, but like it's not, and it's giving me some Dutch vibes. It's giving me some house vibes. It's giving me some weird ass shit because they're just getting like elements from everywhere, bro, and throwing it into their shit and making it sound.
Yeah, you're not too far from like you do have some like Dutch influence. You have some like almost tribal influences. You have there's a lot of like leads. You have like your trumpet drops maybe is just very then you have like your simple just tom and then your kick, and it just sounds like very Latin, and it's just it's a very like Latin underground, based genre for sure.
And I like the rapping that they do on it too. And
yeah.
It's fire.
And then people are starting to make remixes, edits now. So,
Yeah, when I was trying to understand Moombahton, I was like, dude, like the first time I heard Moombahton, I was like, dude, this sounds like something I understand, but I still don't understand because like when you hear the rhythm and like the drums, it's reggaeton, right? But then when I'm trying to like relate this to dance music, I'm like, oh shit, Moombahton is slow down, dirty Dutch. Because
there you go.
Because pretty much it's literally reggaeton rhythm and tempo with dirty Dutch influence, bro.
Yeah, bro,
I mean
it.
That's the Moombahton that I discovered at the time. It was like dirty Dutch, slow down, dirty Dutch, and like with reggaeton drums over it. And I was just like, dude, like this is different, and I like it. I want to hear more of this.
Yep.
The other type of shit I was saying was dembow music.
Yeah.
That shit's wild too.
Yeah.
Shit. Is that like? I mean, is that some shit you could see yourself doing?
Some dembow?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I can easily, jump into that field and have no problem with it. But I feel like right now, I'm very liking like my new Latin house like remixes and edits. So I don't know. Tech house is, we all know right now tech houses and houses, it's killing it and it's the vibe. And, you got your, reggaeton tech house remixes that are like, just smooth, for the crowds. And so, that's definitely like my field right now with, and obviously, I just recently released a week ago or so a Moombahton track called Novatadas, which means hazing in Spanish.
Hazing. Why did you name it that?
There's some samples that I used from I don't know if you guys seen the movie Dazed and Confused.
I've just like kind of skimmed through some scenes and shit. I don't know watch the full movie.
So it's some like some little hazing scenes that some of the things that they say or screaming out during the clips that I thought would go sick for a track, or it just sounds sick the way they screaming it out with like so much emotion, and stripped it myself, and kind of just laid out a whole track and named it Novatas, and I don't know, I just try to keep it on that 108 BPM Moombahton track, so heavy on the Dutch leads as well, so
is that like, would you say that's like the go-to for Moombahton BPM 108, and then it just ranges like from like 112, 115, and then like to 100?
Yeah, definitely. You have your 100, very like slow, almost. I mean, there's like a zouk bass. I don't know if you're familiar with zouk bass. Zouk is like, it's very just like chopped and screwed, sounding like dembow, like almost even Moombahton, but it's just a very slow like and you have like everything, all your different like elements, going on as well, besides the slow progression. But I feel like zouk is very there with Moombahton, and the BPM. I feel like the lowest you can go with zouk is perhaps maybe like around your 80s, and then highest is like around 102, because then it gets too fast, and then that's where Moombahton comes in and just easily like takes the baton and just keeps it going to 108, maybe 115.
Yeah, because I was about to ask, how far does Moombahton take that baton in terms of like the tempo? Like at what tempo does it not become Moombahton? Like, does Moombahton ever become too fast, where it's like, yeah, this is not Moombahton, this is now just like...
I mean, you can just be creating a new genre. You can be making some like Moombah or something,
Okay, so
like 115, Moombah house, because your tech, it could be at 122 or something.
So what's the cutoff BPM, would you say, for Moombahton, where it's like, okay, this is Moombahton, like at the very minimum, like this is it right here at the corner of the BPM for Moombahton?
I think
like 115?
115, yeah, that cuts it. 115 and a half.
116 now, bro.
116, I'm just like, I'm like,
this house.
I can't tell what genre.
This house, all right.
Yeah, so that's my opinion with that. I mean, as soon as you pass 115, it's it does feel more housey, and so that's the vibes that I get in. The lowest I think I've produced a Moombahton track is 102 or 103. So, right. And honestly, with that type of tempo, I mean, you can like have tempo, and you can be producing. I mean, I've half tempoed my Moombahton, and I'm technically making that like double time. So I'm technically, when I do my like very fast half steps, I'm doing like almost 104 BPM, 100 some BPM. So I mean 200. I'm sorry. 200 some BPM, like low Texas beyond that, fucking 1,000. I don't know what the fuck BPM is. Shit,
bro, over 9,000 BPM.
Yeah. So, but so that's my idea with like when you go lower with Moombahton and you do like chops like that. It's very innovative, and honestly, doing like Latin house or like just modern Dutch house, I you could say. And adding those type of like breakdowns, imagine like doubling 128. You're doing like, I don't do the math, but it's a pretty fast tempo. Yeah, I've done it on one track or two, and it's a little too fast. But I don't know. It could be the future of Dutch house or Latin house music, or just the combination of what's happening now with reggaeton, Latin house, and EDM. So that's my opinion.
All of our next tracks got to be at 1,000 BPM. Let's do it.
Very little Texas style.
Next year, we all got to release a Moombahton record for culture.
Hell yeah, bro.
Honestly, to lift up the morale, bro. We're talk to lift it up, because you're right. I think if we were to see a lot more efforts like to release like a Moombahton record, I think everyone would be like, because I think I see this trend where a lot more people release a record because a lot more people start doing it. Like, for example, for drum and bass, like people start seeing more people create more drum and bass. Like that had a little effect on me too. Like I started releasing drum and bass. I was like, oh damn! Like
why are you down making tech Latin now? I'm like, I gotta hop on this train.
We definitely have motives going on when we make certain tracks and shit, right? And dude. And before Moombahton, like you talked about like Dirty Dutch and shit. Did you feel like the similarities to Dirty Dutch? And then reggaeton, do you feel like that really draw you to like the Moombahton sound? Because man, I'm just trying to like...
Yeah, honestly, when I was, I mean, your reggaeton, you have your dembow, your, classic rhythm, and when I was listening to actually, Dutch house music at the time, I didn't really put two and two. I was like, oh, I just like, the high pitched rhythms, the Latin like percussion and everything. But I didn't almost even realize that there's a dembow, the dembow, it's loud and clear there, but people, either might not know where it comes from or might just think it's a rhythm or, something like that. So, when you really slow it down a Dutch house track, you hear the reggaeton influences very heavy, and dance hall, because without dance, there's no reggaeton without dance hall, and there's no Moombahton without reggaeton. So,
Interesting.
Yeah,
cool. Damn, Moombahton, bro, 101.
Yeah, and honestly, like
Christian Busto.
I think a year ago or 2 years ago, it was a 10-year anniversary of Moombahton.
For reals?
Yeah, and I think they released an EP, Hermanito label, on Dave Nada's label.
Oh, so
with
Dave Nada's label.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry. That's another label that is definitely doing still heavy. Latin Moombahton influences. You got
That's cool.
Yeah. So Hermanito label, and what was I gonna say? Yeah. So actually, I think the year after or during that same year, Dave Nada himself asked me if I could, because like I said, I used to send him my music very early on, with my early Moombahton edits, and he, would just give me great advice, and I just keep producing, and he hit me up, and he was asking me if I can actually send him some vocals, and but at the time, those vocals that I had used for some of my tracks, clipped, snipped from YouTube, so I couldn't necessarily give them to him because at the time he was trying to put together a sample pack for Moombahton.
Oh,
but
right.
I did have some very good leads at the same tempo, 100 and 108, that I was able to contribute, and actually I was able to contribute to that Hermanito label sample pack. So I have some sounds on Splice with the OG, Dave Nada. So,
dude, once this episode drops, people are about to find out about you, bro. Trust. I'm telling you, man. Like,
thank you.
I just think that Moombahton culture, there's just so much of producers like yourself out there that are definitely like still grinding, making records, and trying to like keep that spirit up. And I think it's real cool because nowadays, like, you just hear house, dubstep, and then German bass you got coming up, and then you got techno, and you got trance. And then it's like, nah, we still got love for Moombahton. Like, it's just that
it's like a stock, you're gonna invest in a stock because of the hype, whatever the case may be. But if you invest in something that is very good to you, and the background of it, and that it's not gonna fail, time will tell. And sure enough, look what happened to reggaeton. It came back and shit, people loving it,
Like, okay, let me ask you something. What would be a good Moombahton show right now to produce? Like, if you were to throw like a show for Moombahton, like in LA, like what would you put on that lineup? Like to reintroduce people to Moombahton in this day and age.
All right.
I mean, you mentioned a couple that I would think you'd probably bring up, like Dave Nada, maybe.
Yeah, Dave Nada. Obviously, if anything, Nada Strom. He has
okay.
Yeah, he has a duo with Matt, and so Paulie Nada Strom, and Dave Nada, solo set as well, and then of course Munchi OG, and then we would have Los Excel. He's another OG Moombahton. If anything, he's he put music out there that kind of kept it. He kept it flowing. And I feel like around the time where I was still kind of crafting my sound, and working on myself. So I appreciate producers that kept it going. Kept the Moombah sound. And then we have Matias. I would have him on the lineup. Of course, Gesture. He has some banger Moombahton tracks. And then we have MC and DJ Males. Males is she's an OG. She's she knows Munchi. She knows the whole 108 squad. So Males would definitely be there. We would have
Stacked, bro.
David
Stacked.
Heartbreak. We'll bring David Heartbreak back. Let's see, man.
Damn, we're gonna have to open doors early. Shit.
Yeah. Some back-to-backs maybe.
Oh, dude.
Munchi back-to-back with Dave Nala.
Play that show,
Dave
bro.
Nala back-to-back Munchi.
I don't want you to play that show for sure, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I think you make some sick Moombahton, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, for those that are tuning in, watching, listening, go check out Christian Busto. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. Like, yeah, bro, because I know you're like one of those producers out here that are just keeping that shit alive. And
thank you.
Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, man.
I know some people, a lot of producers, they get like caught in that mental trap of like, oh, like this just, it may be dead. Like there's just not no more investment in the genre. I'm gonna go make some tech house early 2000 R&B flips, you know, like. But it's cool to see that like your passion for the genre is what led you to stick around and like still continue to make that kind of music.
Yeah, well, you know, long story short, you know how every DJ and every producer has their times where, man, you feel like you're the shit. You're like on top of everything. You just DJ'd at a venue and the crowd was stacked and you go home and you're producing and everything's flowing. And the next thing you know, you just feel like you suck, you know? So at the time, I was feeling like I was like in a rut and I was like, my music, I would have, you know, we still have those truck sessions, bro, in my Lincoln. And, you know, I used to show you the music. And that's when I was like, that's when I was like, man, I need to start pushing this music out. And actually, my homie Sergio Mena, who put me on Moombahton, shout out Sergio Mena. He messaged me like just randomly. He was like, "Yo, bro, et cetera is about to drop Moombah Season Volume 2." He dropped like a tweet, you know. He was like, I guess send me demos or something. And so I was, I saw the, you know, I hit him up. I was like, oh shit, like, damn, bro, like, I saw that. I think he dropped his email on there too. So I was able to, you know, just send my track. I think I had a track named Fuego, one of my first Moombahton tracks. And so I just sent it to him. You know, it was probably like the last the day, you know, the deadline. I didn't think nothing of it, bro. Honestly, like, I think like a few days passed, you know? And then I'm getting these random likes and like these random follows on SoundCloud. And I'm like, damn, like what happened? Like, well, you know, what's happening? What I do? So after that, I'm at work, by the way. I'm at work, you know, and you know, you know, even when I'm at work, I send demos out to live streams, you know, just a little tip.
True
you know, never stop your hustle, you know.
For sure. So, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
Yeah. Drop a demo real quick. But so yeah, so I saw people, you know, following me and commenting, and so I go see and I'm like, yo, I see one of the comments like, this is sick, from Moombah Season, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh wait, I just submitted some music to et cetera for the Moombah Season Volume 2, and you know, which I'm actually rocking right now.
Oh,
shout out, etc. And so what's it called? What was I saying? I'm sorry. So what was I saying?
You dropped the track.
Oh yeah. So I dropped the track. You know, I sent it to et cetera. You know, people were hitting me up, and then I go to the I look up et cetera's page, and I seen that like, oh shit, he dropped the mix. So I, you know, listen to the mix and actually go to the track list. And I see my name and I'm like, oh shit, you know, listen to the whole mix. And my track is used for like a dope ass little transition part that's mixing into one of Bro Safari's like, you know, track and et cetera track. So it was like, to me, that's what I needed at the time. You know, as a producer, I felt like I was making Moombahton and I wasn't putting it out. And like, it was just like, why am I doing this? And you know, we all know as producers, like sometimes it's so addicting that you can literally have family over and you're like, oh, I just got to do this. Oh, I just got to do that. Oh, I just got to finish this. Oh, like you're so stuck into like your zone that like, I mean, I personally, like, I feel like I have situations where I'm like, I have family over and I'm like working on music and I should be over there. And I'm like, is this worth it? Should I be over there? Like, you know, I think about that. So like, you know, at the time I was just like discouraged, you know, like, so I pushed that song out, you know, et cetera, you know, promoted it. And then that was it, bro. That's all I needed to just keep pushing with Moombahton. And, you know, so I told him this, you know, I met him as well at the studio with Munchi when he was there as well, et cetera. So shout out, et cetera. And
who else was all there, bro? Shit.
Damn, bro.
It was like everybody was there.
Yeah.
Skrillex pulled up and we were just...
but a couple homies, Chopper Dunks. Yeah, a couple homies, Peace.
Remember we used to listen to Big Mac?
Oh yeah, shout out, you know, rest in peace, Big Mac.
Dude. Yeah.
You know, I love his what was that remix?
He had a popping ass remix.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. Yeah, I remember.
I was
Big
dropping
Mac,
that.
I remember Big Mac had a Diplo and Friends mix, and he was playing a lot of sick, fresh. It was like 2014, 2015. I'm like, damn, like this is some sick ass shit.
Yeah, Big Mac, man, and shout out, you know, huge shout out Big Mac. You know, rest in peace. And I never got to meet him, but it was gonna be his first year, I think, DJing at EDC Orlando.
Oh, his
hometown, yeah.
Oh, damn, that's a fucking bummer, bro.
I think he even hit the news, if I'm correct, you know?
That's a bummer.
So
I fucking remember that shit.
It did hit the news, bro. It was a big ass thing. It's like, that's crazy. Once you said that name, I don't know why, a clear vision of like headlines and all that shit just started popping.
Oh, there we go. I just remembered A Little Bit. He had a remix of A Little Bit. Drake's A Little Bit in Love With You, I think.
Okay.
That was fire. I really like that remix.
Yeah, a lot of producers were on the sound, bro. Like, it was just that wave, and
yeah. Like you were saying, maybe producers that at the time weren't even making Moombahton, were making some other genre, and started making Moombahton because it was the move, you know, like. So.
I was trying to make like some like heavy Moombahton for a minute. I was just like, damn, like, you know, like there's some songs where I feel like it is Moombahton. Like, if you listen to like my past records, there's like some like Moombahton influences, like not too crazy, but like if you like pay attention, there's like the detail is in there for sure.
Let me tell you, I have noticed that, and I was actually wanting to talk about how I like how producers can like in a snippet of like a second or two can literally tap into another genre and then just teleport back into the other genre as if it was like nothing. You did not just see that. Nothing happened.
Right.
I just like wiped your memory and we're back to house, you know,
some
bro.
Man in Black shit. Like,
yeah, some Man in Black shit. Like, I just love how
that's tight. Me too.
Like, I remember being in music class, you know, and the producer talking about in the Adele track how she can like speed up the tempo and just break it down even slower. And I was like, man, producers now can
like a tempo
can do that in like in the middle of, you know, in a second transition and just go back to house. And you know, we're doing things right now that's like, I feel like I've always felt since like Moombahton was out, we're in a music renaissance, another music renaissance, like, you know, like the art renaissance. We're in a music renaissance, bro. Like music is changing so fast and so well and so good that people are gonna talk about how fast this happened.
Think about that, bro.
Like, we're in a music renaissance. You got people making all types of music right now, and the limits are like endless, you know?
Bro, legit, there's so many people making different types of music that fall into different subcategories of EDM. And sometimes it's crazy because, bro, a lot of these people are real life pioneers and shit of like certain music genres, but like they won't get recognition because they're just waiting for other people to catch on, you know? Like, that's what you're right. It is a music rent. That's exactly what this shit is.
That's how I feel, bro.
Yeah, and I feel like they don't know that they're pioneers yet until they see others like
it's some Vincent Van Gogh shit,
feeling influence,
like,
you know,
some wild, crazy shit. Like,
yeah,
you won't know.
We're setting the base right now for you know,
a lot of other people,
our grandkids.
For sure.
You know, the music that's definitely gonna be, because EDM